Namaste, Swadikap, 안녕하세요, 반갑습니다. Hey everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ruchita, and in this video, I will be explaining the entire process of how you can audition for ZPOP DREAM. In this video, I will be explaining the steps that you need to follow in order to upload an audition entry. However, I will not be talking about the emotional side of my audition story, of how I felt when I was auditioning for ZPOP DREAM as an Indian citizen. In case you guys are interested in knowing about the emotional side of my story, then please leave your request in the comment section below. I'll definitely make a video on that later. So without further delay, let's jump straight into the video. So let's start the video by answering a very simple question. What is Z-pop? Now I know a lot of people who are curious about Z-pop are the ones who are actually K-pop fans and just got aware of the term Z-pop and are now curious to know what the Z-pop culture is. It is very similar to K-pop with a little bit of differences here and there. If you pay close attention to the K-pop music culture, you would realize that all of the songs are in Korean language, as well as the people who get selected to debut as K-pop idols are also Korean citizens. A lot of them are also half Koreans, but when it comes to K-pop industry, the most priority is given to Koreans, half Koreans, Chinese, Taiwanese, Japanese, and Thai people. Z-pop Dream idol culture was started in order to give an opportunity to non-Korean Asians to show their idol talent to the world. Currently, Z-pop Dream selects winners from 7 countries, including India, Indonesia, Thailand, Taiwan, Japan, Philippines, and Vietnam. The winner selection criteria for a Z-pop Dream audition is very similar to your normal K-pop audition. Participants are evaluated on the basis of their techniques and skills in each of the 3 idol performance categories, namely vocal, rap, and dance. Normally in a K-pop audition, you will also find 2 more categories, namely the acting and the modeling category. However, Z-pop Dream project is currently focusing on only creating idol performers, and as a result, you will not find the audition categories for acting and modeling in Z-pop Dream audition. Now let's come to the main part of this video. What are the steps that you guys need to follow in order to audition for Z-pop Dream? Now in this part, I'll explain the procedure that I followed. I'm not sure if this procedure will be the same for the upcoming generation auditions. However, this is something that I followed while auditioning for Z-pop Dream in 2019. The Z-pop Dream auditions, which took place in the year 2019 for the selection of second generation idols, took place in 3 stages. The first stage was the online stage, and the second and the third stages were the offline stage, meaning that you have to perform in front of a judge. Now in a normal K-pop audition, the K-pop companies carry out their online stage through 3 methods: email submissions, website submissions, and Instagram DM auditions. However, for Z-pop Dream, they took a little bit different approach when they started their first online audition stage. They released an app called the Glitzy app, especially for the purpose of audition. When the app was released, there was a section where there were rules and criteria for people to audition for the Z-pop Dream project. In the first stage of the audition, which was carried online on the Glitzy app, the participants had to post a 30-second video of them performing any one of the 3 categories, meaning the vocal, rap, or dance auditions. Obviously, if a participant wanted to take part in all of the 3 categories, they were definitely allowed to do so. There was no restriction on the number of videos that a participant wanted to post on the Glitzy app. However, there was definitely a time limit restriction. However, it wasn't much of a problem because the Glitzy app, when it was released, was designed in a way in which the maximum time limit was just 30 seconds for each of the audition videos, which were filmed through the camera option of the Glitzy app. Even though the rules of the competition mentioned that there were absolutely no restrictions on the number of videos a participant could post for audition, there was definitely a very weird selection system that wasn't really approved by a lot of participants from these 7 countries. According to this method, even if a participant posted a lot of videos, the ones with the most number of views were going to get selected for the second round. In this system, there was no evaluation by any kind of judge. The videos were selected purely based on views. So it didn't matter whether you had skill, whether you had technique, whether you had the right look, it didn't matter at all. If your video had a lot of views, it was going to get selected for the second round. According to the system, Glitzy app had a section where they displayed 10 most viewed videos from each of the 7 countries. According to this system, only 70 entries were going to be sent to the second round. Now this system was very weird and not really approved by the participants because countries like Japan and Vietnam didn't really have a large number of submissions for the auditions. As a result, their list of 10 most viewed videos was completely empty with only 2 or 3 entries. However, countries like India and Indonesia, where there were hundreds and thousands of people auditioning for ZPOP Dream, the list of the 10 most viewed videos seemed very unfair for such a large number of people auditioning. The fact that these videos were getting selected only based on views and not based on the skills and talent left a lot of fans heartbroken, because of which they started emailing Zenith Media Contents and started pleading them to start a different phase where they could probably pay more attention to the skill level and the talent level in each of the following audition videos. Since a lot of participants were really disheartened with the system which was used in selecting people based only on views, a lot of participants reached the Glitzy app's Instagram page and started leaving comments saying that they weren't really satisfied with the system that were used in the first round, and they wanted a much more fairer evaluation system for the people who actually had what it takes to be an idol. Taking into consideration a large number of requests, Zenith Media Content started a second phase of the first online round itself. The second phase of audition of the first round was called as website submissions. Now, in this particular system, every participant was given an access to a website. On this website, you could attach one video file from your gallery. It can be any video, can be a video of you singing, rapping or dancing. A participant could attach one video along with one email ID to contact that participant in case they get selected. Now, this system was a really fair system because the participants were being judged by Mr. Jusun Lee, who was the judge for our competition in 2019. At the end of the website submission period, the company came up with a list of people who were selected in the second phase of this audition. I was selected in the website submissions. My video on Glitzy app did not have a lot of views. As a result, I decided to send my video as a website submission, and there I got selected on the basis of my rapping skills. At the end of the second phase, winners from the first phase and the second phase were combined together, and these were the people who were going to audition for the second round of the competition. Now, what happened during the second round was the company decided not to reveal to the world the names of the people who have been selected for the second round. This was because a lot of people would start asking the winners of the first round as to where the auditions are held and how they can participate in this. The people who qualified for the second round were sent private emails by the company giving them information about where and when the second round will be held. They were also given a list of songs from which the participants could select their favorite songs to be performed at the second part, that was the second round of the competition. Now we have officially concluded talking about the first round of the competition, so let's move on to the second round of the competition, the first day of offline auditions. Now, the way in which the second round of the auditions was conducted might differ from country to country. Since I'm from India, I'll tell you how the auditions took place in India. The offline auditions took place in India for 2 days, 20th November and 21st November 2019. 20th November was the first day of online auditions. On this day, we took part in the second round of the auditions. This was the first day of offline auditions. About 40 to 45 people had qualified from the first round to the second round, and I was one of them, and my audition number was number 5. So in this audition, as I mentioned that we had actually received an email from the company, we were told about the location, the timing, and the way in which the audition will be conducted. We were also instructed not to give out any kind of information as the company has its own rules and regulations. However, I can definitely tell you that we were given a song list by the company. Now in this song list, we had 3 categories: English songs category, Kpop songs category, and Z-pop songs category. So we had a huge number of songs to which we could select 2 songs to be performed. Now the company told us that we had to select 2 songs because in case we get selected on the first day, in case we get selected on 20th November in the second round, then the finals were going to happen directly the next day on 21st November. We had no time in between to prepare. As a result, the company told us beforehand in the email that we had to prepare 2 songs. Obviously, we could prepare different songs for singing and dancing. It was not an issue, but you definitely had to have extra performances prepared just in case you were selected for the third round. So since there were about 40 to 45 people who were qualified for the audition, they were taking in batches of 10 people at a time. Since my audition number was 5, I was one of the first 10 participants to audition in front of a judge. So I'll tell you the entire process of how it went. Every participant was given about 7 to 8 minutes of audition time, not more than that, because every participant performed for about only a minute or so, and then there was a question round. So I'll tell you what happened for me. When I entered into the audition area, we obviously had the big background behind us that had the logo of ZPOP Dream along with the words India Auditions 2019. In front of us, we had three people sitting who were the judges. Now, out of these three people, we had Mr. Jason Lee, who was the main judge of the competition. We had another judge whose name was Mr. Brandon Choi, and we also had a lady who was acting as an interpreter. Now, a lot of you guys have been asking me questions about how I understood what the judge was asking me or talking to me in Korean language. Here's the thing, I didn't. We had that lady who was translating everything for us. Whatever the judge said in Korean, whether it was asking a question or giving us any kind of remarks, the lady was translating the same for us in English. And while we responded in English language, she was translating everything in Korean for the judge. Now, we had Mr. Jason Lee who spoke Korean. We had Mr. Brandon Choi who could speak English. So whenever he wanted to say something, he definitely asked questions in English language. Along with these three people, we had a ton of cameras and 7 to 8 cameramen in the audition room. So you don't just audition in front of 3 people, you actually audition in front of about 10 to 12 people at a time. We had cameras from a lower angle, from side angles, we had cameras from like the terrace region. Like there were so many cameras to capture different angles of your audition so that they can actually select the best footage from each of camera rolls and they can edit it into a nice episode to post it on the Glitzy app. So when I started my audition, obviously when I entered, you have to introduce yourself. So I introduced myself. I said my name. My name is Ruchita and I. I was 17 at the time of audition. So I said my age is 17. And today I'm going to perform this particular song. Now the reason I selected Whistle song from the list was because not only did it have rap, which was something I am good at, it also had vocal parts. So with this song, I could actually show them my vocal as well as my rap talent. Obviously, people could select any song they wanted from that particular category. For me, I selected Whistle song because that was the first song I ever heard when I got introduced to K-pop. So that was the first K-pop song that got me into the culture. And I had learned the lyrics of the song, so it wasn't a problem for me to memorize all the Korean lyrics. So when I started my performance, obviously they had music with them. You had to give them a list of the songs that you're going to perform. So obviously I told them that I was going to perform Whistle. They had the instrumental music available. So when they say start and they start the music, you have to start singing. So I sang from the part where Lisa says, make it whistle like a missile. From there, I completed the first part of the song with Rose's high note and then the words V Param. So I ended my audition with the first part, after which the judge stopped me. He gave me some comments about my rapping and my singing, and then he asked me to move on to my dance performance. So I had also prepared a dance on the same song, Whistle. But here's the funny story. What happened was, the routine that I was going to perform was the original dance choreography of the song, and someone before me actually performed the same routine. I don't remember what was the number of that particular girl, but she was before me and she performed the same routine, because of which I had to change a few steps and I did a completely different routine. I did on the spot dance routine in front of the judges. So after about let's say 30 to 45 seconds of dance, they stopped me and they gave me comments about my audition, after which I had Mr. Brandon Choi ask me a question and my audition ended there. So overall, they gave us about 7 to 8 minutes. For people who weren't that good enough when it came to performing, they were asked to perform for like a longer time period. So the ones who weren't really good enough with their skills or were nervous or didn't perform well usually took a long time to audition. For me, I didn't even take 7 or 8 minutes. My audition ended in 4 to 5 minutes. That's it. For people who were good enough and they didn't need to see further, the people who were really good at auditions ended their audition in 4 to 5 minutes. After every participant has successfully auditioned in front of a judge, the judges take a moment to decide who they want to send into the final round of the competition. Now there were 40 to 45 of us in the second round, and they selected only 10 people for the final round. Now these 10 people were selected on the basis of their vocal and their dance skills. Now when it comes to vocal, rapping is also considered, but usually the ones who just do rapping in an audition, the judges definitely request them to sing a little bit. Now what happened for me was I selected a song that had not only vocal parts but also had rap parts, because of which they didn't ask me to sing another song. After selecting 10 people, they tell us what they expect from us in the final round. They wish us all the best and we are done for the day. That's where the second round ended. Now that we have covered the information about the second round, let's move forward and talk about the third and the most important round of the entire competition, the finals. Initially, I mentioned that the judges had selected 10 people in the second round, which was held on 20th November 2019. These 10 participants were now going to compete against each other in the ZPOP DREAM 2019 India finals. Previously, I also talked about how the company had mentioned in the email that every participant had to prepare 2 sets of performances for this particular audition. The reason behind instructing the participants to do so was because after the second round, finals took place the very next day on 21st November 2019. Let's talk about how the finalists gave their last audition. Since my audition number was 5 and none of the first 4 candidates qualified for the final stage, I was the first person to perform in front of the judge at the day of finals. Here's how my audition went. In the beginning, all the finalists were asked to line up before the judges before they proceeded to surprise us with the announcement that along with 2 global Z-stars, that is, 1 male winner for the boy band and 1 female winner for the girl group, ZPOP Dream project was also selecting a few other individuals to debut under the title Local Z-stars. According to the company, these individuals would debut as Z-stars, but they would be staying in India and performing as an Indian Z-star. After this announcement, the judges wished all the candidates good luck for the finals. After this short announcement, the final round of 2019 ZPOP Dream India audition began, with me being the first person to perform. Just like the second round, the participants walked in one at a time, introduced themselves and proceeded to perform. However, things were a little different from the second round. In the second round, participants were stopped mid-performance and evaluated by the judges, as this was just basic observation skills and techniques round. However, in the final stage, judges do not interrupt the participant, allowing the performer to complete one entire song for singing and dancing. When a participant entered the audition area, they greeted the judges and immediately moved on to start their vocal performance. The participant had to sing one entire song without stopping for their vocal audition. Once the song was completed, without any remarks, the participant was asked to exit the stage while the next participant walked in. After all the 10 finalists had completed their audition in this manner, they started with dance auditions. Now you must be wondering why they only asked us to sing instead of singing and dancing just like the first day. Here, the judges used a different strategy. Every time one participant walked in, they listened to the entire song sung by the participant, wrote down their remarks, and asked the participant to exit, while the other participant walked in and performed their vocal performance. After the vocal performance had been completed for the day, they gave a break of about 1 or 2 hours to the participants to relax, to maybe rehearse the dance that they have prepared for the final audition, and they also gave the judges some time to decide which one of the participants had the best vocal performance of them all. After a long and relaxed break, every participant had to perform the dance audition. This audition took place in a similar manner to the vocal audition. Every participant entered one at a time. They played the song which was selected by the participant for the dance round. The participant completed their dance routine on the entire 2 or 3 minute song which had been selected by them. And after the dance was completed, was the time when the judges actually took the mic and started evaluating each and every performer. So after one entire round of vocal auditions and one entire separate round of dance auditions, the participant was given a mic to answer the questions asked by the judges. Just in this manner, every single participant was judged on the entire final audition, including the vocal and the dance audition, at the end of the second segment. So every participant had completed the dance audition. They stood in front of the judge talked to them, asked them questions about their future plans. Everything was done and the participant exited. This is how the final round, which is the third round, was conducted. Once every single finalist has performed in front of a judge, they do something called the general interview round. Now this is something which might not happen next year or after that, but this is something which happened during our time. All the finalists were standing in a straight line. They called out one number at a time and they were asked a question. And you had to answer that question in front of all of your competitors. So let's say, for example, my number was number 5. So they said, Obon. audition number Obon, which meant me. Then I had to answer the question that they asked me in front of my competitors. Now, this is a round where they ask questions like, what do you think is your weakest skill? What is a skill that you're best at and you can defeat all of your competitors in that particular skill? What can you contribute to the ZPOP Dream project? What do you have in your mind as a vision? Like, what are your goals to achieve after you become a Z-pop idol? These are the kind of questions that are asked to the participants. Once this round is done, there's something called as the camera test. Now in this test, they ask you to stand in front of a camera. They capture your side profile and your front profile. So like first you stand in front of a camera, they see how you look, how your front profile looks. They ask you to turn sideways, they ask you to turn left and right. They see how you look when it comes to your side profiles, and then you are asked to move away and the next participant comes in. Now they might capture your pictures or they might just do it live instead of capturing pictures, like they just stands there and looks at your profiles. This is a very important step in Z-pop audition because you know the idol culture is not just about talent, it's also about visuals. Visuals play a very important role when it comes to K-pop and Z-pop industry. So after the camera test is the final part where they announce the winners. Now, what happened in India's finals was that out of the 10 finalists that we had, there were 3 boys and 7 girls. So, there wasn't really a problem selecting the winner for the boy band. They selected Daksh Thapa, who was 14 years old back then in 2019. He became the winner of India when it came to Z Boys. Like, he became the Z Boys winner of India. When it came to the girl group winner, they selected 3 girls. They selected Kriti, Shweta and Padmashri for the interview round. The rest of us were asked to go home and these 3 girls stayed for the interview round. Now, I don't know what happened in the interview round because I wasn't selected, but I'm pretty sure they were asked some really difficult questions that have answers that come from your heart. And after this round, they finally declared Kriti as the winner. So there you have it, guys. This was the entire Z-pop Dream 2019 audition process. I hope you received the information that you were looking for. In case there's anything that I might have forgotten to cover up in this video and you guys still have questions, you can post your questions in the comment section below. I'll definitely answer them. And in case you guys want a sort of a different video which covers the emotional side of the entire Z-pop Dream experience, where you want to know about how I felt during the entire process of this audition, then please make sure to send me a DM on Instagram or post your request in the comment section below. I'll definitely do an emotional story time video on that. But until then, see you guys next time. Bye!